Well, the weather outside may be cold, but the Bethune-Cookman women's basketball team is red hot. Winners of 3 straight, and tonight they're on the hunt for their first 4-game out-of-conference winning streak since all the way back in 2019. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Torello. Happy to have your company live from Coach Sky Court at Richard V. Moore Gymnasium. Alongside me, it's Henson. I got it right this time, Henson. Once again, Henson had the reins last week, stepping back in this week, and we should have a very good matchup on our hands between two teams that are no strangers to each other.
Yep. Jacksonville University and Bethune-Cookman often play each other, especially these past couple years. Since 1999, Jacksonville was actually 11-3 against BCU, and we've won the last 2 of our 3 in 2018 and 2019, but Jacksonville won last year 75-62, and Cookman will look to rectify that tonight. Jacksonville comes in after losing to FAMU, who's not been at their best this season, as Cookman is on a 3-game non-conference winning streak, as you said, looking for 4. Which they'll look to continue here, especially with the return of Kayla Clark to Moore Gymnasium. She's been out for a little bit, and she's coming back tonight, and hopefully will provide an offensive spark for this team as well. One thing about this Jacksonville team is that they're better at home than away. 0-2 at away from home, 2-0 at home, and a ton of turnovers both for them and against them, ranking 49th in forced turnovers in the nation, but 347th in turnovers given up. So look for a fun game tonight.
Yeah, a good bit of numbers to back up those stats. Jacksonville turns the ball over 25.5 times per game, but they forced 20.5 turnovers from the opposing team. Should be a fun one tonight, but because Bethune-Cookman, well, contrary to last year, they don't turn the ball over nearly at all. Just 13 turnovers a game. That ranks them near the top of the SWAC. So it's going to be important to keep their heads and keep hold of the ball.
Yeah, especially against this Jacksonville team. They're going to look to just, get that ball going, snatch it away. But obviously Cookman isn't looking much better at holding the ball, keeping possession this year. So hopefully they can keep it true against this Jacksonville team.
One more on the turnover notes. Bethune-Cookman currently leads the SWAC, 9.6 steals per game. A fair bit of that coming from Deshaunte Edwards, but Kerrigan Dunn also in the mix with 11 steals on the year.
Both the women's and men's teams, a lot of defense played for both of those teams, and they'll look to continue that today as we tip off here.
Jacksonville in the green. Bethune-Cookman in the home gold. And there is Chanel McDonald off the nice feed from Chanel Wilson. The Chanel to Chanel connection. And it's a 2-0 lead for the Wildcats.
Immediately hopping off to get a good start here with that.
And already we see Kerrigan Dunn trying to jump that passing lane, trying to turn the ball over. This is Sanaya Craig, their leader in rebounds on the ball now, wearing number 15. To the baseline, here's Michaela Edwards. Eden Battle, scoring leader for Jacksonville, gets to the baseline and has the ball tapped out of bounds. So a nice defensive play by Chanel McDonald, the transfer from Warner, who is the reigning SWAC Player of the Week.
Those Player of the Week start stacking up.
2-time Impact Player of the Week for Chanel Wilson. 1-time Player of the Week proper for Chanel McDonald. That's a nice backdoor pass to find Michaela Edwards for the lay-in. The Wildcats are going to have to score with Jacksonville early and kind of weather that storm. They dump it down low to Wilson again, hooping the harm.
Gets fouled, puts it away. Tough shot, tough layup. A little behind that arc inside of the paint there, and just puts it up and puts it in.
Yeah, so the modus operandi, of course, for Bethune-Cookman is go to Chanel McDonald. Only 5'11", but plays a lot, 6'2", plays a lot taller than that. She's matched up against 6'4" Jada Jones underneath. Yeah. Can't complete the and one play. Careful not to foul there. We did say in the opener that Kayla Clark is back and ready tonight on the bench for BCU, and there's almost the first turnover, went off McDonald's foot.
Jacksonville will look to keep possession here and try to run a little play off of this inbounds pass back behind the basket here.
Kerrigan Dunn and Cariana Woods, the other two starters for Bethune-Cookman, and there's an offensive foul. Illegal screen, first turnover of the game for Jacksonville. Michaela Edwards will pick up the foul.
You got to plant those feet if you're going to do that screen. She was kind of moving a little too much towards the end there, made contact, and that's going to get called, especially early in games.
Edwards, one of the many players from this Jacksonville roster who have come from far and wide to play their basketball for the Dolphins, originally from Viejo, California, and a transfer from Hawaii. Handoff Kerrigan Dunn. And Dunn turns the ball over with a travel.
That's not what you want to see. We already talked about the turnover thing. Obviously, they're doing better this season, but you don't want to have a travel this early in the game, especially when you're trying to get out to an early lead.
Kerrigan Dunn was crucial in the Wildcats' win against Georgia State, a game in which they trailed in the fourth quarter but came back to win. Mariah Tucker almost poking that ball away. They'll get a reach-in foul against Chanel McDonald. But Dunn, in 26 minutes, had a game-high 16 points on a rare off night for Chanel Wilson, who only had 10 in that contest. And it shows that the Wildcats have some depth on their roster, at least in the scoring column, whereas last year was mostly the Chanel Wilson show.
If you're a coach, you love seeing your team spread the ball, as that's all.
Three-pointer from straight on. Battle for the rebound goes Dunn's way. Wildcats with a 2-on-1 if they hurry. Wilson flashing through the paint. Mariah Tucker for three, too strong. And the Dolphins grab the board. BCU up 4-2 here. Just a couple minutes gone by in the opening quarter. Long stretch pass and a whistle and a stoppage of play. And we'll get a substitution for Jacksonville. Here's Jada Jones, the 6'4" freshman center. We mentioned the players coming from far afield. She didn't have to travel far. A Sandalwood High School, graduate from Jacksonville.
Duval representative on the Jacksonville University team.
Traveling violation against Sanaa Garrett, Philadelphia native Sanaa, another freshman. This is a very young team, Jacksonville. Only a couple of upperclassmen and really only one senior. That's Jada Duckett, who has not played so far this season. Of course, a brand new head coach for Jacksonville this year, Special Jennings, in her first collegiate head coaching game. Wilson thought about the step back, goes across to Cariana Woods, drives to contact. Corner triple, rattles down for Mariah Tucker.
That's a well-worked play, and obviously you see somebody open in the corner, you just got to take that pass, and she takes that shot, makes it.
Tucker, 50% from long distance on the year so far. Against somebody that didn't really play a lot last year because of an injury. That's a nice play through the middle, but Garrett can't get the roll. Dunn works through traffic. The Wildcats will start their offense, which includes a Sanel Wilson three-point jumper out of bounds. Dolphins ball. What have you seen here early, Henson?
Just a lot of interesting possessions. Not a lot of scoring, not yet, obviously. 7-2 score currently, but just a lot of working around the ball, trying to get a lot of passes out, and then it just ends up in turnovers, travels. We've seen a lot of fouls early, a lot of traveling. So, obviously, both teams will look to sharpen up as this game goes on.
Yeah, and in 2 of the 3 wins that make up their current non-conference winning streak, because there's going to be a foul on the trap. Going to go against Kayla Clark, who's just checked in. In 2 of the 3 of their wins against Georgia State and against Iona, which was here at Moore Gymnasium, the Wildcats had to come back late in those games. A fast start, making sure you put the opponent under pressure is going to be very important for the Wildcats this evening.
Yeah, we've seen that they can come back from those deficits, but obviously as a coach, you'd want your team to lead and try to be on the front foot rather than keep fighting off the back foot.
And once you get into those conference games, I'm talking about, Jackson State, your Grambling State, your Southerns, as Chanel Wilson turns the ball over for the Wildcats. You don't want to be getting behind against teams like that. Woods around the double screen. Tucker, no space to fire for 3. No space to get inside the three-point line yet on this possession. Here's Kayla Clark, where she not where she usually is, out on the perimeter. 5 seconds. Chanel Wilson, ball in her hand. Free throw line jumper, misses everything through contact, and that'll be a turnover.
Yeah, that's some beautiful defense out of Jacksonville University. I mean, if you're a coach, that's something you practice. Try to keep them outside of the paint, keep them outside of anywhere really outside of the three-point line there. They had a lot of contests, led them to having to just hold the ball, long time possession, but couldn't get a good shot up. With 3 seconds left on the shot clock, she kind of has to take that contested shot and just doesn't make it.
And they did something that they were not able to do with Chanel McDonald in the game, which the Wildcats did not get into the post on that last possession, which you would think the 6'3" Kayla Clark would be their best post presence. Wildcats trying to prevent the drive. Euro step. Stripped to the ball is Craig, and then blocked at the apex.
More gymnasium really like that one. I mean, no foul call. How the Jacksonville player went down, I think that was Craig went down. You might have thought there was some contact, but obviously it was clean as a whistle there. But that's something that'll get your crowd hyped every time, a nice block play.
7 on the shot clock here off the inbounds, thrown all the way into the backcourt for Eden Battle. Yet to get off the mark herself tonight. She is this team's leading scorer. She tries a 3 at the horn, won't go. Battle averaging 14.5 points per game for the Dolphins early on in the year. Wilson with a lane to the basket gets bumped and will go to the free throw line.
I mean, if you saw where Wilson got that ball, you might think take that 3, but I mean, if you're more comfortable driving, you're going to drive. But looking back, you might be like kicking yourself a little bit thinking about that open opportunity that you passed up.
Well, and maybe it's in the back of her head. She just missed that shot on the last position really badly, didn't even hit the rim, and she thought, well, maybe I'll get to the paint.
Yeah.
She does get to the free throw line, does Chanel Wilson. He is 70% from the charity stripe on the year so far. While Mariah Tucker and Carriana Woods depart.
McDonald sits down along with Carriana Woods. Chanel Wilson.
Chanel Wilson gets that one to go, and Deshante Edwards is checked in. We talk a lot about her relentless defense, but only 4 steals on the season so far, led the SWAC in takeaways last year. 1 of 2 from the line for Wilson, score 8-2 early on. Well, about halfway through the first quarter. Left-hand drive, Brianna Frazier forced to back away from the tough defense of Kerrigan Dunn. Dunn tracks her all the way to the logo. Off the screen for Craig. Rolling his Battle. And then taking it away underneath, Kamara Langston.
Beautiful steal.
Oh, in transition, the skip pass from Wilson to Edwards just is incomplete off the foot, but you like to see a team in Bethune-Cookman that doesn't really get out and run the floor in transition that much try something of the stretch pass variety.
Yeah, I mean, that was a well-worked play. I mean, but you didn't get back fast enough, and obviously you get a player in transition that's going to play good defense like that, and you just can't score on that opportunity.
Wildcats have turned the Dolphins over 4 times in the first 5 minutes, and they're on a 6-0 scoring run, and they lead at 8-2. Low-scoring first quarter here, Henson. We talked about both teams playing good defense, and you've seen it.
Yeah. Both teams also don't score a lot in that, especially in that first quarter. So looking back, Jacksonville coming off a game where they didn't score a lot in the first quarter either. But you just got to hope that if you're a Cookman fan, you're hoping that you keep this pressure, keep this offensive pressure going. We're already on a 6-0 run. You want some more points. We've seen the opportunities come. We're just not capitalizing on them.
Points per game so far this season, Bethune-Cookman 65, Jacksonville 58.5. So on stats, it looks like BCU has the advantage, but of course you never know. The game is not played on paper after all. Basketball season is in full swing. Come get your Wildcats Friday night, December 1st for non-conference action as the men's team takes on Incarnate Word at 7 p.m. Admission is free at Moore Gym. Can't make it? Catch all the action live on youtube.com/CatEye Network. The men's team trying to bounce back from 3 straight losses up in Farmville, Virginia at the MTE hosted by Longwood last week. And trying to get revenge on an Incarnate Word team that beat them last year out in Texas.
So, I mean, from when they're in Moore Gymnasium, they play much better than they do on the road this season as well, especially.
Well, Incarnate Word's going to be a big test.
Yeah.
Always tough in that Southland Conference. After the first media timeout, nice stretch pass over the outstretched arms of Edwards, but underneath the ball is dribbled onto the baseline by Kerrigan Dunn. Almost had another steal.
Yeah. But that was a pretty pass by Eden Battle there. She goes up for that little fake layup and then just lays it off. But obviously, I don't think her teammate was expecting that ball, and that caused that near turnover.
Another baseline in. Here's Craig. Tries to drive baseline, puts it up, two-hand shove style, and doesn't get it to go. Edwards with the board. Kerrigan Dunn will run the offense with Chanel Wilson out of the game.
Dorsey.
Jacksonville sitting back in the zone, not letting the Wildcats in. There's a long three attempt from Dunn off the mark. Almost stolen on the inbounds pass by Kerrigan, but we got to get back. Jacksonville, one dribble into a corner three, short by Battle. And it's a transition opportunity for the Wildcats the other way. Here's Camara Langston, opposite hand off the glass, and she'll go to the line.
Once again, we're seeing both teams are getting opportunities to put the ball in the basket. They just aren't. There's just a lot of missed field goals for both teams. Jacksonville is currently 1 for 7 from the field. That's a 14% shooting percentage, 0 from 2 from 3 specifically. And Cookman's 3 for 7 from the field, which is slightly better. That 42% percentage is kind of where you want to be around. But as we've seen, we're getting those opportunities, especially with that zone, though.
Camara Langston at the line. Ooh, that's a rough miss for Langston, who hit her only free throw attempt so far on the season, was 1 of 1 before that. The sophomore from Chicago.
I mean, the more times you go to the line, the better you get. More shots, per attempt.
She corrects it on the second attempt. I was watching the NBA last night, and DeAndre Jordan, who's now playing for the Nuggets, as another turnover is forced on the travel by the Wildcats. But DeAndre Jordan, who now plays for the Nuggets, shoots under 40% from the free throw line for his career, which for a career player like that you really wouldn't expect. But the team they were playing, every time he went up for a layup, they would just foul him because it was more likely that he'd miss the free throws than get the layup.
Hack-a-Shaq, made that more famous, but people were doing that before Shaq. It just obviously when you're that good, people take notice.
Dunn drives, tries to throw it off the window, no good. And it'll be Wildcat ball off a scramble underneath.
They keep working this ball in here. That zone is really messing with the Bethune-Cookman rhythm offensively. They just can't seem to get any of the shot opportunities that they want to. I mean, we've watched them working around the perimeter, but no one is taking that cut in. No one's working off ball. They just all seem to kind of stand there.
Wilson comes back in for Dunn. Look for Chanel to get going. Only 1 point from the charity stripe tonight. Extra pass into the corner. Here is Wilson, just a little bit short off the three.
But that's what you want to see on that zone. You want to just work it around faster than they can rotate there.
A really good job by Deshante Edwards. Shuffles her feet to the baseline and takes the charge.
That's gritty basketball. No one wants to be the guy or girl to be taking a charge, but when you are and you do it well, you get turnover opportunities for your team.
Well, you're sitting there laying on your back after taking the contact. You hear your team are up behind you, and you know you've done your job. Open in the corner. Here's Langston. Baseline drive and an offensive foul. It's a charge the other way.
Well, both teams got to feel that euphoria of the bunt of basketball.
Jacksonville has not scored a point in 6 minutes, but the Wildcats have not really punished. It's only 9-2.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about women's basketball, if you aren't familiar, is that women's basketball does quarters rather than 2 halves like men's college basketball does. So we're looking at a possible, if they don't score here, Jacksonville might not score much this quarter rather than having more time for the half.
The Wildcats really pressuring on that man-to-man defense, getting up in the Dolphins' faces. Ball goes into the paint, and it will send Jacksonville to the free throw line. No, they're going to say it's not in the act of shooting on Sanaya Craig. Craig from Phoenix, Arizona, out of the vaunted Compass Prep Academy program. Again, just a freshman in a starting role on this team. Whistle on the inbounds pass.
A little discussion going on between.
Not sure if they called a 5-second violation or a foul.
Thinking it's a foul.
It is a foul, and that will send Jacksonville to the line, as Bethune-Cookman has now put Jacksonville in the bonus here in this first quarter. It's really the one thing we haven't done well this quarter.
A lot of fouls.
2 fouls on Kayla Clark already.
Yeah. Very interesting to have a team that isn't scoring have this many fouls, but.
Yep. Eden battle at the line, just a 56% free throw shooter. Basically the only thing she doesn't lead this Jacksonville team statistically in.
Drops it a couple notches with that first miss, but she'll look to correct it here.
And does. It's the first Jacksonville point in 6 minutes and 34 seconds.
And it was from a free throw from the bonus where Cookman hasn't been playing well defensively and offensively. Is just creating these foul opportunities. Jacksonville goes back into this zone that just we cannot seem to break.
The way to beat the zone is go to the short corners or shoot over it like Chanel Wilson does there.
She was tired of us talking about it.
Yeah. Off the mark from the floor is Chanel Wilson tonight. Averages 16 points a game for this Wildcat team. 2:17 to go first quarter. A low-scoring contest here at Moore Gymnasium, which does favor the visitors. But there's another turnover. Kayla White in transition. Pull up from the elbow.
Tough
Too
shot.
strong, but Dorsey gets her own miss, throws it up, no contact, no foul.
Almost gets their own rebound twice there, at least gets it to a teammate, but Battle takes it back down the court for Jacksonville. And
transition 3 for Frazier, no good. Offensive board for Jacksonville. Chanel McDonald fighting hard to force the missed shots. That's a nice battle between her and Sanaya Craig down low.
Yeah, Kayla White gets the board, though. Runs it up the court for Cookman. Gets it back to Chanel Wilson while the zone kind of works again.
Langston looking to dump this down low to McDonald. Little 5-foot floater, money.
I mean, as you can see, if you were watching closely, you saw that corner get open, drew that defender in. So it was a kind of a mismatch there. They forced them to either try to cover that shot or cover that corner. And it didn't matter. She puts that in anyway.
And remember, that's how the Wildcats scored the first 4 points of the game. That little dump off to McDonald underneath. Fighting up through contact.
That was just a
Sanaya Craig.
Poor defensive possession from Cookman. They got drawn up on that little pass and left her wide open under the basket.
Out of a horn set, they try the same play as last time and get the foul. So you saw, I told you about the horn set. It's when 2 players come up to the free throw line and both set ball screens there, and then the player in the middle can go left, right, or play it to the middle.
That's why you're here. But we're at the line here, but both teams just fouling a lot.
Well,
here.
that's the downside of playing tough defense, as both of these teams do, right? You're going to draw fouls. You're going to send the opponent to the free throw line, and that's why Bethune-Cookman opponents averaging nearly 70% from the free throw line this season.
Yeah, I mean, 70% from the free throw line is a great shooting percentage, but hopefully if you're a Cookman fan, you're thinking that percentage has to go down eventually and just less fouls as the course of the season goes on, as Chanel makes those.
Chanel makes both. She is 88% from the line so far this year.
That is
it is rare that you have a power forward like her be so good from the charity stripe.
Most players aren't that good from the charity stripe in general, regardless of position, so that's extremely impressive.
Drive and kick sets up the baseline runner for Edwards is missed. Kayla White almost coughs the ball up in transition, but she gets it back.
Just moving to get that ball.
You can tell the Wildcats really want to run in transition, but the Dolphins are getting back well. White skips it to Wilson. Defender goes by her. And then a foul called off ball.
Thought that was a kick ball.
Oh, it is a kick ball. Yeah. My bad.
You're good. You're good. I was like, I don't even know who fouled. But
I heard the whistle.
We're just so used to
fouls. And I thought I saw a reach by Frazier, but they didn't call that. They called the kick. Throw it up to McDonald. And now Dorsey.
They look to be holding for the last shot here.
Yep, 10 seconds left to go in the quarter. Wildcats with a 16-5 advantage here on home court. Chanel Wilson with 5, looks, goes left, dumps it back. Long three-point attempt is off the mark by Kamara Langston. The Wildcats got a decent look at that three at the end of the quarter, but come up short. The Wildcats still an excellent first quarter. They hold the Jacksonville Dolphins to 18% from the floor and lead it 16-5 after quarter number 1. We'll take a break and be right back. This is BCU Athletics on the CatEye Network. Nike is the official outfitter of the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. Gear up on the newest BCU Nike gear at nike.com/Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. And make sure you are representing BCU athletics to the fullest. Buy the latest BCU gear online at the Bethune-Cookman online store. Go to bcuathletics.com and click on shop to find the newest BCU clothing and apparel. That's bcuathletics.com. And click on shop. Mike and Henson back with you here at Moore Gymnasium. The Wildcats with a 16-5 lead, a dominant first quarter. But Henson, it could be more.
It could be much more. I mean, credit to Jacksonville. They've been playing pretty good defense against Bethune-Cookman. They just haven't been scoring at all, which has led to the amount of Cookman possessions. Cookman shot the ball more, 14 compared to their just 11 times. But we have an amazing defensive possession here.
Drive and one.
That's a tough
Kind
shot.
roll off the rim for Eden Battle. That's Battle's first field goal. She was 0 for 3 previously.
Yeah. That's just a tough shot. I mean, defensively, what you don't want to do is hit, cause that foul. You got to just put your hands up. You got to stop. You sometimes just got to let them go by you unless you want to give up that foul, which we did here.
And one opportunity is missed off the front iron. Back to a 9-point game. Wildcats really need to keep the Dolphins at arm's length. And in games like this where you have a decent lead early on, as a coach, you always got to remind your players the run will come. They will get hot, but it's all about how we respond to it. Long stretch pass into the corner. 3 on the way, in and out.
I mean, how Jacksonville's been playing defense, that's what you want to do. If you create those mismatches where you have those open looks with the zone, that will happen.
Interesting, they drew that play up for Kamara Langston, who was 0 for 2 from beyond the arc before this game. Drive and steal. Nicely done by McDonald.
Maybe, if 0 for 2, you see that on the scouting report, you might not think to defend her from the three-point line as harshly as you would other players. So possibly they were looking to make that happen. Mismatch.
Wilson gets a ball screen. Extra pass to find Dorsey. Whistle and a stoppage. And they'll get Jacksonville's Michaela Edwards for a foul. That'll be her second foul. 2 fouls for Craig, 2 fouls for Edwards, and 2 fouls for Frazier on the Jacksonville side. 1 for McDonald, 2 for Edwards, 1 for White, and crucially 2 for Kayla Clark on the BCU side. So in her return to Moore Gymnasium, as Kayla White gets an easy bucket underneath, in her return to Moore Gymnasium, Kayla Clark may be limited in her minutes this evening.
Yeah. 12 total personal fouls for both teams. as Edna Battle just.
And that's what Battle can do. The junior transfer from Miami, Ohio.
A little hezzy step back there and just gets enough space to get that shot off and just makes it. I mean, you got to tip your hat to that kind of stuff right there.
In the corner, dumping it down low to. Here's the kick out for Chanel Wilson. She loves to step into a three right at the top of the arc, and she hits another one.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to play a zone, that's what you're going to get punished by. Well-worked offense, where you're going to pass the ball, you're going to get those open spaces, and obviously Jacksonville just couldn't get closed down fast enough and let Chanel get that open shot.
And the Wildcats playing this tough man-to-man defense, really trying to jump those passing lanes and be up in the faces of these Jacksonville players, really causing the Dolphins a lot of trouble as almost another turnover there. Here's a baseline drive, scooping it up, and no good at the buzzer is Jalissa Dunlap. Wilson in transition. Done the triple. She knocks it down. No correction, that's Kayla White. And Jacksonville calls a timeout as Bethune-Cookman has ballooned the lead. It's 24-9.
All of a sudden, this game doesn't look close like it was ever. That's what you do when you get those offensive opportunities and you start making those shots, especially when you're stopping them from scoring on the other end. You make this game look like it wasn't close. But one important thing to note is one thing about the women's game compared to the men's game is that switching defensively is much easier than it is in the men's game, where your point guard might be 6 foot and switching onto a small forward who's 6'7", 6'6". Rather than that, most of the women's players are, closer in height. So if you got a point guard that's 6 foot and then one of their tallest players is like 6'4", 6'3", all of a sudden that switch isn't as detrimental defensively.
And I want to talk about a player like Kerrigan Dunn, right? Listed as a guard, 5'9", but really can defend positions 1 through 5 if the opponent doesn't have like a 6'4" or 6'5" center. Players like that defensively are so important as linchpins when you're playing this man-to-man style. You're chasing through ball screens. You're trying to get through double teams and stay on your man. Having someone like that who can guard every position, so if they do have to be forced into a switch, you're okay with that, is so important.
It makes it much easier to play defensively and coach defensively when you have players who can guard 1 through 5 instead of, okay, if you have to switch, all of a sudden it's a terrible defensive possession for your team, as Jacksonville has not shot well due to that defensive pressure. Only shooting currently 26% from the field, 0 for 3 from 3, 4 for 15 in general, with 7 turnovers and 7 fouls, no steals, and only 2 assists. So they're not getting the ball back possession-wise as much. Cookman only has 3 turnovers, so they're losing the ball, but they're not making up for it like they usually try to do.
We mentioned that Jacksonville turns the ball over 25 times a game. Well, they're on pace for 28 turnovers tonight after 7 in the first quarter.
I mean, ranked 347th in allowing turnovers, so obviously they're not one of the better teams in the nation at that.
And as a coach, it hurts, right? Because you keep hurting yourself by giving your opponent opportunities that they would not otherwise have had. Dolphins back on the ball. Here's Battle trying to go to work at the free throw line. Kick out. Nice fake of the 3, drive into contact, and Isamari Taria will go to the line.
You can't. She gets over there, puts her hands up, but doesn't set her feet, so she just kind of goes with the offensive player there, and that causes that foul.
And a great shot fake by Teleria. Faked the 3, got the defender in the air, and then had space to drive.
Yeah. I mean, that's how you want to. If you're going to, pump fake and get to the line like that, and especially if you're making the shots, I mean, that's what you want to do offensively.
Teleria, the junior, originally from San Francisco in the Dominican Republic.
Mm-hmm. But has represented Puerto Rico on the national stage.
Puerto Rico, not Dominican Republic. My bad. But yeah, has represented Puerto Rico on the national stage. And we see a couple of those players come through here once in a while. I know FIU has a lot of European players that have represented on the international stages. We did Iona a couple weeks ago. Like almost half their team had played some sort of youth international ball.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, FIU is Florida International University.
Oh, what a move.
That's
and
tough.
what a finish by Chanel McDonald.
That's just pretty basketball there. You get a little Euro step up and under action and makes that layup.
In traffic, a jumper is no good, and then Jones got stripped by Wilson. Long stretch pass ahead to White. Wanted to lay that up and in, but there was too much traffic under the basket. Here's Kariana Woods, lost the ball underneath, and it'll go off for a knee and out.
One of the good things about, rather bad things about being a taller player when everybody else around you is real short is if you don't go up to that ball strong and fast, they're just going to strip it out because they're already all down there with you.
Jacksonville wants some tempo in their game now. Here is Dunlap all the way through for the easy bucket.
Yeah, the tempo seems to be working for them as they're scoring more with this up-tempo offense than they really were prior to it, especially when you're down big. You can't do much, those long possessions to score, 2 points when you're down by this much.
And the longer a possession goes, the more confident a man defense like BCU's gets. Wilson at the elbow. Here's Chanel Wilson up top. Long three.
Wow.
No good. One thing that Jacksonville is doing very well at is boxing out on rebounds.
Yeah. Cookman just, on those offensive rebound opportunities, they just,
flying to the hoop is Battle, and a quick 4-point swing for Jacksonville.
Yeah, but one thing that Cookman isn't doing well is getting those offensive rebound opportunities, especially due to the zone. A lot of their players are out on the perimeter, so as soon as that ball goes up, they're already trying to go back into transition defense. Ooh.
And then the Wildcats throw the ball away. Miscommunication between Tucker and Woods.
And I thought Coach Creighton was about to call a timeout, but she does?
Yeah, he does call timeout, and I think that's a good timeout.
Yeah.
Wildcats haven't scored in almost 2 minutes and have given up the last 6 Jacksonville points. And I told you that the run would come for Jacksonville. They were going to get it together, and they found something that worked against this man defense, which is picking up the tempo and not allowing the Wildcats to set their feet defensively.
Yeah. That's definitely some Coach Creighton is going to be talking about in that huddle is just, hey, we got to switch faster. We got to work faster here. We can't let them get those easy shots. Anyone's going to make those. And then in Jacksonville huddle, they're probably ecstatic right now. I mean, they haven't scored that much that often this game. Most of their scoring breaks and stretches have been 2 points and then like 5 minutes later another maybe free throw or something. So obviously they're in better spirits now. They're going to look to keep this roll going.
Well, games are not won in the first 15 minutes. You got to play a 40-minute game, and if the Wildcats, yes, they're up 11, but if they go to sleep, this Jacksonville team is very well poised to take advantage.
Yeah. Especially with Edna Battle coming alive during the second quarter, leading the troops into battle, the Dolphins into battle rather, as she's their leading scorer currently and leading rebounder and assister. Well, tied with assists with only 1, but 4 rebounds and 7 points for her.
Dancing against tough pressure is Telleria. Here's a drive and a foul, which will send Britt to the line.
I mean, the fouls have been an issue for both teams, but now, the team's already on a run, and you're just sending them to the line for free here is one of the last things you want to do. But obviously, if she doesn't make these, then it's kind of kind of can make it an argument for it. But
Britt, a freshman from Jacksonville at Ribault High School. A second-generation Ribault High School player. Her mother also played there.
It's always nice to hear stories like that, parents or brothers, siblings, familial bonds at, high school and college level are always so interesting to see.
Britt also has ties to the Daytona Beach area as she played for DME Academy on the post-grad scene.
So she probably was telling them how to get down International Drive. As now
a little bit of a full-court press here from the Dolphins.
Changing it up defensively once again. Now they're doing a full-court press and then dropping right back into a zone here.
Nia Jordan on the floor for the first time for the Wildcats. Woods, baseline, puts her shoulder into the chest of the opponent, and we'll go to the free throw line.
I mean, if you're going to work that ball around, you're going to go back in that zone. As we saw, full-court press went straight back to that zone, and now we're going to go to the line. But obviously, when you had that opportunity to go take that short corner, that's what they were trying to do, trying to work it around that zone, and they get fouled for it. So
Wildcats 4 of 7 from the line, as are the Dolphins. First one good from Cariana Woods. Another one of the freshman class last year that Coach Janelle Creighton was really high on. Deshaunte Edwards, Cariana Woods, Nia Jordan, Damani Dorsey, Kimura Langston, all in last year as freshmen who played minutes for this Wildcats team.
I mean, when you're trying to build something, you have to let the people that you bring in play. You try to, prove whatever. You're trying to prove your how you want to play and all that stuff. You got to let those freshmen get minutes.
And, of course, only year 3 for Coach Creighton.
Yep.
And if you think, right, year 1, you're working with the players that were here before as the Wildcats get another turnover. Dunn gets the foul. No shot on the follow-up.
Yeah.
But year 1, you're working with the players that were here before. Year 2, you get some of your players in, but they're mostly freshmen and transfers. And then year 3, you really kind of start to develop an identity as a program.
Yeah. And then year 4, that's all your people at that point, everybody on the team, unless you have like exterminating like a red shirt.
Ooh, nice.
Something.
Nice
she's
catch.
Open in the corner there.
Here's a long one from the corner. White can't get that to go. Offensive board. Nia Jordan will go to the line. Doesn't get the and one. But still, aggressive offensive board. Only the 3rd offensive rebound for the Wildcats this evening.
I mean, that was well-worked play there. Obviously, that zone wasn't able to really fully format itself due to that long outlet pass. So they were drawn more up court. And they had that open 3 that she missed, but obviously, get that offensive board, get those second chance points at the line here.
Well, second chance points, 0 for both teams. Not counting free throws, obviously. But
yeah.
Nobody has gotten a putback in this game.
No boards for anybody offensively. One thing about having a lot of shorter players for the, obviously compared to the men's game, you have
full court press for the Wildcats.
And it worked.
And it's going to be a tie-up, and the Wildcats will have the possession arrow.
But one of the things about having all these shorter players is that compared to the men's game where you have like a 6'10" guy who can get a lucky board and then put it back and he's already at the rim basically, everybody, you have to work harder to get that put back. So we're seeing that, especially when you don't want to press those offensive boards as heavily.
Wildcats 4th and 8th, Jacksonville turnover. We'll get another look at this possession. They've already gotten 2 points from the free throw line.
10 personal fouls for Jacksonville, by the way, alongside those 8 turnovers. So
4 players with 2. They've spread it out a little bit. Nobody really in foul trouble yet. But if you can get somebody, especially maybe battle with 3 in the first half.
Yeah. Then you make it much harder for that second half. But Edna Battle's been avoiding them for the most part. She has 0 compared to Dunlap and Craig, who have 2.
Well, look now, and Jacksonville just put the Wildcats in the bonus with a hold on the inbounds pass, which will send Nia Jordan to the line, and they'll be in the bonus for the 2nd time in the game.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to put teams in the bonus, especially this easily, because it's not as if Cookman's been going and driving heavily, and it's just a lot of shooting fouls and that kind of stuff. It's just a lot of kind of dumb transitional fouls that we're seem to be getting a lot of opportunities out of.
That was the first free throw misses of the season for Nia Jordan. She was perfect from the line before that trip. Yeah. The lead stands at 30-16. The Wildcats have ballooned the lead a little bit. Jacksonville had brought it down to 8. That's a nice drive from Battle, and she'll go to the line after leaving the layup short.
Now, I'm not 100% sure on that call. More Gymnasium would agree with me, but that's just a tough shot. I mean, I have to respect you go in, you drive. She did not look to pass that ball whatsoever from the time she picked it up at the top of the key.
I see a lot of similarities between Eden Battle's play this year and what we saw a lot of out of Chanel Wilson last year. A lot of trying to do it all yourself, just seeing a mismatch, driving, trying to get to the line, trying to score at the rim, trying to hit shots uncontested, but just off of your own shot fake, your own jab step, and not using your teammates a lot, which is something, full credit to Chanel Wilson. She has cleaned up a lot this year.
Yeah. But, I mean, sometimes it'll work, but sometimes it won't work. And when your team's down by this much, you might be thinking, I got to, that's how I got to get these points up. And you're trying to put it all on you. So
Jordan Careful not to travel as she was falling backwards out of that horn set. Didn't really go anywhere. And they'll reset to Woods. 10 on the shot clock. Woods drives, floats it, no good, no foul. Refs letting a lot of contact go on both sides, and still there are a lot of fouls.
Yeah.
Here's a 3 from Battle, swish.
I mean, he's gonna he must be hearing us on commentary and saying, hey, I can do it all myself, and just takes that 3 and drains it. Now it's only a 10-point lead for the Wildcats.
Just about 3 minutes to go in this first half. Wildcats have pretty much controlled it from the word go, and they're going to get Telleria for a reach-in, which will send Kerrigan Dunn to the free throw line as Chanel Wilson and Chanel McDonald, the Chanel and Chanel show, check back in. McDonald still leads the way with 10 points for the Wildcats, but Battle leads all scorers with 11, 4 of 8 from the field. Yeah. Everybody else, a combined 3 for 11.
I mean, percentage, carrying the shooting percentage.
And the Wildcats continue to struggle from the free throw line, now just 8 of 14.
Obviously, you want to get these free shots, as the free throws for a reason. You got to get these free points if you want to build this lead. Punish them for fouling you so much.
Wildcats will try a little bit more of a full court press. Jacksonville breaks it. Here's Brown into the lane with speed, gets it back to Battle. Battle against Cariana Woods. Gets a ball screen and takes a triple off the screen.
Yeah. And if you were watching Battle's eyes, she did not, other than the time she picked the ball up a little bit at the top of the key, she did not look to be passing that ball, didn't look to where her teammates were going. That was ISO ball from the moment she touched it.
Bit of pressure applied from Jacksonville, and it's going to send Dunn to the line again as they're going to get a reach-in foul on Asina Britt, who pleads her case, but you're not going to change the referee's mind.
Looked like she was trying to tell her coach, I don't know, what else I can do. Getting obviously very frustrated about the foul calls, but that leads her to get subbed out of the game, and now she's there with 2, I think.
That's Asiana Britt. I apologize. But Dunn back at the line, her second trip and as many journeys down the floor, and she misses the front end again.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to make those free throws. But Britt got subbed out with 3 fouls. She's the first player to really get in foul trouble for this Jacksonville team, even though a lot of other players on the team have 2 fouls. Edwards, Craig, and Dunlap all with 2.
Dunn makes 1 of 2 for the second time down the floor. And we haven't seen Kayla Clark, but for 4 minutes she picked up 2 fouls and then went right back on the bench. And, of course, she is still rehabbing that injury. So we wonder how healthy she is. Flying to the hoop is Frazier. She doesn't get the roll off the rim.
I mean, if you already have a player that's already kind of in foul trouble and rehabbing an injury, obviously you're thinking, I might as well.
Nice dump down to Dunn, but comes up short on the layup.
On that shot. But you might as well just let him rest, rehab a little bit more, but still have him there for
Wilson almost got that steal, but it leads to an open jump shot by Telleria.
Yeah. We're getting a lot of practice rolling on R's here tonight.
1:53 to go first quarter. Wildcats trying to close strong with a 10-point lead. Try to do a backdoor cut, but it bounces right to Chanel McDonald, and sometimes you'd rather be lucky than good.
That's one of those where you're going to act like that was all on purpose later.
Battle draws a double team. Means somebody's open, but the Wildcats get back defensively, and then Telleria throws it away.
But they keep possession here.
That came off of Jordan.
Yeah. So they'll look to make some shake from this inbounds from behind the basket here.
They'll keep McDonald in. McDonald with only 1 foul. Really important not to have her pick up a second one before halftime.
Yeah.
Kamara Langston will check back in for Nia Jordan. And obviously your number 1 power forward on this team is McDonald, but the number 2 forward spot is still kind of up in the air. As the Wildcats have played kind of that 3 guard, 1 forward, 1 center formation for a while now. Tapped out to the wing. It bounces around pinball style, and the Wildcats will take it. And then Jacksonville will reach in and send the Cats 80 feet the other way to the free throw line.
That's one of the things about putting the team in the bonus. Some is inconsequential, just trying to get a good, defensive pressure on that reach in there ends up costing you possible points. You didn't even let them get all the way down the court, and you're already put them at the line. So.
The Wildcats now, with these 2 free throws, will be up to 19 attempts from the line in this first half, 10 more than Jacksonville.
Yeah. And 13 personal fouls as she makes that first free throw for the Jacksonville Dolphins.
There's a couple of Jacksonville players inactive. LaRonda Quattlebaum, Jada Duckett, Zaria Blake. So you can't have people getting in foul trouble if you're Jacksonville. You may end up with a short bench by the end of the game.
Yeah.
1:13 to go as the pace of play is slowed down a little bit here in the waning seconds of the first half. Battle skips through and scores.
Tough shot for Battle.
At that point, you got to draw a double team. You know she's only has eyes for the bucket. Wilson tries to do a battle impression and gets it to go. Tough finish off glass.
I mean, if Jacksonville keeps up the fouling, Edna Battle might find herself in a De'Aaron Fox situation where it's a 3v5 the rest of the way out.
That happened to a college team last week, I think. I don't remember who it happened to. I maybe looked that up at halftime. Battle stops, starts, puts her shoulder into Kariana Woods and scores again. 15 points for Battle in the first half.
I mean, she's doing it all herself.
Over half of Jacksonville's points.
Keeping the team in the game, but the rest of the team isn't helping her out. But they might. But Cookman keeps possession here.
Yeah, Brianna Frazier almost turned that ball over for the Dolphins, but the Wildcats will hold for the last shot. 8 seconds left. Wilson goes to her left, throws it over the head of Woods and out of bounds, but I like to play because Woods was one-on-one under the basket.
Yeah, it was a good play, but Woods is not 6'6", so that ball was a little bit out of her arm's reach. As Edna Battle.
And then the Wildcats will be the
foul.
The recipient of a reach-in foul. I don't know. That's one you don't want to see as a coach. There's 4 seconds left. You're not even on their own half of the floor.
Why are you fouling?
Send them to the line, especially Battle, who's been excellent, especially in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Sinks the first one. She was 2 of 5, now 3 of 6 from the line, 50% for Battle.
She's battling. We're going to do battle puns for the rest of the night. By the
way. I can tell that you are well up on your battle puns.
But she's working hard but she misses that one.
1 of 2, but the Dolphins get the board, and then we're going to send Frazier to the line with 1.6 left.
So at best, originally you only would allow 3 points if you let let somebody on Jacksonville score. But they're looking to make this 3-point play happen regardless with 2 free throws.
And you saw Sherry Tucker yelling at the Wildcats off the bench, rebound.
So it's 1.6 seconds left.
And a chance to close this to within 10 points, which the way this first half has gone, Jacksonville will 100% take it, a 9-point deficit at the break.
So if you're Cookman,
that'll be it for the first half.
Yeah.
38-29, the Wildcats lead by 9, but you feel like there's some missed opportunities there for the Maroon and Gold.
There was a lot of missed opportunities. Even on that last play, you saw Dunn breaking away from her woman covering her, but they just, I mean, maybe you don't have the arm for it. Maybe they, had a play set up, but 1.6 seconds left, I would have just chucked it, but that's just me. But Jacksonville and Bethune-Cookman both have a lot of team fouls, personal fouls. 14 fouls for Jacksonville, 11 for Bethune-Cookman. Not a lot of, 6 steals for Cookman, but only 0 for the Jacksonville Dolphins. So obviously Jacksonville's just fouling however and whenever over here.
But the Jacksonville Dolphins did score the last 5 points of the quarter, 4 of those at the free throw line, which you can't have. But really, if you look back at the last 30 seconds of the first half, the Wildcats are up by 14, and then you foul on in your own offensive half of the floor to put them at the line, and then you foul off of a missed free throw to put them at the line again in the last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's a sloppy close to the half by Bethune-Cookman. Anyway, it is 38-29. We will take the halftime break of about 13 minutes. We'll be back for the second half here from Moore Gymnasium. It's the Wildcats 38, the Jacksonville Dolphins 29. Bethune-Cookman trying to win their 4th straight game in the non-conference for the first time since 2019. Will they do it? Come back after the break to find out. This is BCU Women's Basketball on the CatEye Network. Welcome back to which would be more gymnasium on the campus of Bethune-Cookman University. It's the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats 38, the Jacksonville Dolphins 29, as we get set to start the second half of action in this non-conference Sunshine State clash. It doesn't really feel like the Sunshine State today. Temperatures in the low 50s all day with cloudy skies, but that's outside. We're inside in Moore Gymnasium. Here's some stats from the first half. Jacksonville overall out-rebounding Bethune-Cookman 17-16. Both teams have 3 offensive rebounds, and just 1 second-chance bucket per team. Bethune-Cookman 10 assists to Jacksonville's 3. They're playing battle ball, and that being give the ball to Eden Battle and let her do work.
Eden Battle's been carrying the offensive workload for much of the second quarter for Jacksonville. Most of their offense coming through her. 16 points and 6 rebounds, 2 assists. So most of the offensive output has come from her. She has no personal fouls, no turnovers, 20 most minutes played on the team. She is their offense at the moment.
Yeah, and in the second quarter, Jacksonville actually outscored Bethune-Cookman 24-22, but they only put up 5 points in the first quarter. BCU really not that efficient, just 44% from the field, Jacksonville 41%. Bethune-Cookman has outshot the Dolphins from beyond the arc 4-1. That's really the difference in the game right now, 9 points.
Yep, and 12 of 19 from the free throw line, 63%, which is decent, but obviously when you're being put in the bonus like halfway through the second quarter, you want to score more points, especially when they keep fouling you. And as the tail of the assist goes, 10 assists for Bethune-Cookman, 3 for Jacksonville. Edna Battle will get the ball top of the key and then look to score. And unless she is absolutely forced to pass the ball, which is why they only have 3 assists, and 2 of them come from her. So,
just about getting set to start the second half. Glad you could join us. There is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture here at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at cookman.scalefundraiser.com. Of course, the Wildcats not done in December. A flurry of games here at Moore Gymnasium. But after this, on the 3rd of December, they'll go to Florida International down south for another Sunshine State battle. Then they've got Warner, Johnson, and Trinity Baptist, 3 non-D1 games. And then the 19th and 20th, they're going to go at Stetson to the MTE over there and play Valparaiso and North Carolina A&T, former conference foe.
MEAC.
Of course, now in the Coastal Athletic Association, NCA&T, not the MEAC anymore. Finding life tough over there in all sports.
Feeling like an old man.
The Aggies.
Changing the name to MEAC, but Jacksonville has the ball.
And the first Jacksonville turnover. Second half, just like the first. That's the 11th turnover for Jacksonville on the day.
Tail of the tape, a lot of turnovers for Jacksonville coming into this game as a ref stoppage.
The shot clock did not start. So having some shot clock issues. Scoring-wise, Battle obviously leads the charts for 16. Nobody else on Jacksonville with more than 4. Telleria has 4. Craig, Edwards, and Frazier have 2. Britt has 3. That's it for Jacksonville.
And on Cookman's side, you have McDonald, Wilson, White leading the charge there. But a lot of spread out scoring. No one really, outside of McDonald with 12, has a ton more points than their teammates.
Jacksonville back into their zone to begin the second half. Chanel Wilson tries to shoot over it and misses it left.
And if you like basketball like I like basketball, you see that Telliara, amazing box out defensively to stop any opportunity for an offensive rebound for Bethune-Cookman.
I see a lot of similarities between Isamari Telleria and Kerrigan Dunn's games.
Yeah. Telleria, not Telliara.
There's a steal. All the way to the hoop goes Kerrigan Dunn. We were just talking about her defensive game. She picks up her 12th steal of the season and converts it into 2 points.
Coast to coast there. Top of the key on the opposite side of the court to put that layup in. And Battle has the ball, and Battle is going to look to
Well, she's double teamed. That's a big change the Wildcats have done, is they automatically double team Battle, and it leads to a travel by Telleria.
I mean, that's what you're going to do. If you're going to take all of the offensive workload, any team and any coach is going to go, okay, we're going to target that one person, and we're going to make somebody else step up or make the team as a whole step up. And obviously with that last possession, it's working in Cookman's favor.
Well, because Battle has scored more than half of the Dolphins' points. Here's Chanel Wilson, kick out. Mariah Tucker, she'll drive, step back, put it off the glass, no good. The rebound is fought for underneath the basket. The Wildcats do fall on it, and they will not get it. It's going to be a tie-up. Or they're going to say Bethune-Cookman called timeout and had possession. So smart play by Janelle Creighton to call timeout before the tie-up, and the Wildcats will maintain the ball.
Extremely quick timeout. I didn't see that one, but, I mean, that would have been an interesting tie-up there, considering she didn't look like anybody else really contested her possession for that ball and could have been gone Jacksonville's way.
And we've been talking about defense this whole game and how the Wildcats love to press in that man style. I was talking to Harold Ford, usually the PA guy here at Moore Gymnasium before the game, and he said he remembers all these days when Hampton would come into Moore Gym and press and press and press and press. And guess where? Head coach Janelle Creighton was a former assistant at Hampton. So she picked up a lot of that style from when she was an assistant up there. Also, Kennesaw State, UNC Asheville, William & Mary, Colgate, Oberlin, and Oglethorpe. So he's been around, has Janelle Creighton. This is her first collegiate head coaching job.
From the A, Atlanta.
The ATL, she was home last week as the Wildcats swept the Georgia State Invitational with wins over the hometown Georgia State Panthers and the Bradley Braves. That's always a tough program, Bradley, in basketball. Specifically, the men's team has a lot of deep history, but they got over the women as well. And that game was Chanel Wilson's best performance of the season. She dropped 20 points in that win over Bradley.
Felt at home in Atlanta, I guess, but I mean, that was that Thanksgiving break. Some of y'all might have been watching on the CatEye Network. So
that was up in Atlanta, so they had that covered on ESPN+. So I did watch those games though, but the Wildcats did perform very well. Had to come from behind in the fourth quarter to beat Georgia State. But it's a tough night for Wilson so far. 9 points on 3 of 8 shooting. She is 2 for 6 from beyond the arc though. Wildcats will have 8 to shoot after the timeout. Thrown all the way up to Kerrigan Dunn. Got to get this one off, and it's short, and it's going to be a shot clock violation. And it seems that the Wildcats didn't realize that the shot clock hadn't reset.
I don't think they did. No one really, that possession wasn't really played with any like, oh, we got to get this ball up. And quickly the crowd seemed to have counted down to tell them, hey, we got to get this ball and at least attempt to get it towards the net and the rim.
Here's a long jumper. It's no good. Nice box out by Mariah Tucker. Dunn on the outside. Chanel McDonald trying to get position underneath. They do throw it to her. She goes to the rim and doesn't get the lay. Nice defense by Craig that time.
Little miscommunication between the Jacksonville players. They all went to try to get that rebound. And the
Battle steps into a long two.
Oh my goodness. You got to close her down. Out of anybody on this Jacksonville team, you got to defend her.
I may be doing some research about career highs for Battle during the timeouts. As there's a double dribble.
That Jacksonville obviously wanted to call the entire bench jumping up to call for that double dribble.
And the Wildcats out of sorts right now. Just 1 of 4 of their last 5 from the field. Jacksonville 4 out of their last 5. They've closed the gap to 9 again. Battle, no stranger to scoring. As there goes Blake. Correction, there goes Craig, and she will go to the line.
That's just another foul for Bethune-Cookman. Both teams fouling a lot this game. That's been the real inches and numbers of this game has just been on the foul sheet with 14 for Jacksonville. Now that would be, I think, 12 or 11 for Bethune-Cookman.
12 for Bethune-Cookman.
Yeah.
Battle is the all-time leading scorer at Ghana Lincoln High School from Ghana, Ohio.
I mean, playing like that, obviously, I mean, how she's playing right now, you can see why. Very, I guess, used to carrying an offensive workload.
Started at Miami, Ohio for the Red Hawks. Didn't play at all her freshman year due to an injury, but averaged 10.1 points her sophomore year, starting 14 games.
So
just a 7-point lead for Bethune-Cookman. And that, because really after that first quarter, Jacksonville has controlled the game. But they were so far behind after only scoring only 5 points in the opening frame. Extra pass to the corner, done a triple. Too strong, and they're going to call over the back on Chanel Wilson on the rebound.
I mean, how it looked, you could have, if you're a Cookman fan, you were thinking maybe she didn't get enough back pressure in there, but she did go over the back there, and that's going to result in a Jacksonville possession.
Wildcats, only 2 points this quarter. We approach the halfway point of it. Here come the Dolphins. Battle has her pass knocked right back into her own hands, draws a triple team. Another deflected pass from Craig. Wing three, no good. And flying through for the board is Kayla Clark after only playing 4 minutes in the first half. She's back on the floor. Wildcats need to try and do something to get out of this offensive funk they've been in out of the halftime interval. Kerrigan Dunn, nice fancy dribble move and a little floater.
A nice little floater to get the Wildcats back on track here. Just couldn't really get anything going to start this third quarter.
Stops a nearly 3-minute scoreless streak for the Wildcats. Puts them back up by 9. We're midway through this second quarter. Battle.
Oh my God.
She can't miss. Battle 8 of 13.
That's just it. I mean, at a certain point, it's like some of these you got to give her. Oh, wow.
And a turnover for Jacksonville, but a reach-in foul is called before the turnover. You saw the entirety of the Jacksonville bench irate about that call. So, I'm stumbling over my word. This is unbelievable. Eden Battle is 8 of 13. Nobody else on the floor for Jacksonville has more than 6 shot attempts. And that is Craig, who's 1 of 6.
Yeah, I mean, if it works, it works. And obviously the coaching staff over at Jacksonville is saying, hey, we're just going to give the ball to Edna and let this rock.
One-man band right now.
Yeah.
Dunn tried to go for the triple offensive board for Deshaunte Edwards. Put back, rolls in off the rim.
And I just checked for her most points in a game, season high 2023-2024 was 18
Well, she's
points.
already got more than that, up to 20 right now. Battle stops and pops and finally misses.
Finally misses. This is an Edna Battle legacy game, as they would call it. Eden Battle, rather, not Edna.
Dunn, double team, skips it to Edwards. Wildcats just moving around the perimeter, trying to get something going. Here's a long-range 2 from Kerrigan Dunn. No good, and fighting through contact to get the board is Sanaya Craig. Of course, leads this team in rebounds, 6.5 per game for Craig.
They're getting good looks. It's just they're not making them.
Jumper from the baseline, no good. That's Kashana Brown, Wildcats back the other way. Not getting the roll is Wilson, but Edwards, another offensive rebound. Sitting at only 5'7", but she is attacking that offensive glass.
And somebody's got to get the boards here. Somebody's got to try to shift things back on the Wildcats' favor.
8 to shoot for Wilson. Pulls up from the nail and drains it.
That's a nice shot. Nice little fadeaway jumper at the free throw line, basically.
Wilson into double figures. She's got 11 points. Kayla Clark yet to score, but has 5 rebounds to lead everybody in the game. Correction, Battle has 6 rebounds. She's almost on course for a double-double. Bad pass, but it still finds Telleria. Spinning in the lane. Craig should go to the line. And if that's on Kayla Clark, that's her third foul.
A Dennis Rodman-like performance.
It is on Clark. That's her third foul in only
Clark.
7 minutes.
7 minutes, 3 fouls, 5 rebounds. Oof. Optimize your game, I guess.
Media timeout on the floor. Stay up to date with everything Bethune-Cookman Athletics by checking out the Wildcats on social media. Give BCU Athletics a like on Facebook and follow the Wildcats on Twitter and Instagram at BCU_Athletics. For the latest on BCU women's basketball, follow at BCUWBB on Twitter and Instagram. Henson, more of the same really from the first half. Gritty defensive battles on both ends of the floor, and outside of Eden Battle, it's really been tough sledding for Jacksonville, but outside of McDonald and Wilson, it's been tough sledding for Bethune-Cookman.
I mean, the shooting percentage has gone down for Bethune-Cookman since the start of the second half. Now 15 of 36, only a 41% shooting percentage. The Eden Battle show carries the shooting percentage of Jacksonville with a 40%, much more respectable than what they had earlier with about 12%.
They're shooting 40% as a team, but nobody besides Battle has more than one made field goal.
Yeah. I mean, everybody else is either shooting 50%, 0%, or Craig is shooting a 12, if I could do that math in my head.
Yeah, 1 for 6.
1 for 6. So.
It's Battle, the one-woman army right now for Jacksonville, and still no personal fouls, even though there have been 15 called against the Dolphins.
15 called, no personal fouls, and most rebounds on the team at 5-7. So she's having a game. The rest of her team, however, is not helping her out that much.
One thing the Jacksonville Dolphins have done well is shoot from the free throw line. They're 10 of 15. They're going to go back to the line right now with Craig. She's currently 2 of 2 in her only trip.
Yeah.
And that was right at the end of the first half when the Wildcats fouled on a rebound off of another free throw attempt, giving Jacksonville 2 more points than they probably should have had.
Yeah. And that foul was from a reach-in when Eden Battle was crossing the half-court logo.
It was a very messy end of the first half for Bethune-Cookman. Craig leads this team in free throw percentage at 85%. She's 100% on the night, 4 of 4.
Keeping it high.
And it's back to a 9-point game. The Wildcats have been kind of holding steady around this 9, 10, 11-point deficit here in this third quarter. Both teams have scored 8 points. Wilson, behind the head pass to Kayla Clark.
I'd like to see that one in slow motion. That was really nice.
Clark behind the back, pulls up, and nice box out again by Craig for the rebound.
Just can't make shots consistently as a team outside of McDonald, who's 5 for 6. Everybody else is kind of just, who's getting a high volume of shots, is just not making them consistently. 4 for 10, 2 for 7.
And we haven't really been getting to the paint, but to be fair, neither is Jacksonville with passes like that. In transition, Kayla White on her way to the hoop, and it's no good, but the Wildcats will keep possession out of bounds off Frazier. If you're Kayla White, you got to bury those.
Yeah, that's you're basically by yourself with that layup. You got to make that, especially when the rest of most of your team isn't having a good shooting night.
Triple team. Wilson out of the baseline in. Clark alone up top. Hands to Kerrigan Dunn. She drives. Floater too short. Gets her own miss. Put back also no. And it's out of bounds. It'll go to the Dolphins as Chanel McDonald barely couldn't scoop up that rebound. She had position, just couldn't grab it.
The arms were not long enough. She was trying to box out, made sure that Jacksonville at least couldn't get the board, but obviously couldn't get the board herself.
Bethune-Cookman out-rebounding Jacksonville 24-22 as a team, but nobody on BCU has more than 5 boards, and that's Kayla Clark, who is not in the game right now as she has 3 fouls.
And Frazier almost, the ref seemed to, passed it forward to make that
long
inbound
pass. And somehow, Telleria keeps control of it. Nice defense, but offensive putback and 1 for Sanaya Craig.
No box out attempt. She just kind of got inside and then got that board.
Here come the Dolphins. They've closed the gap to the closest it's been since very early on in the game.
Here comes the pod. Dolphins traveling. So.
A chance to make this a 6-point game.
Yeah. It hasn't been close since about the start of the first quarter. I mean, It was 8-2 at that first real break we had. So
the Wildcats have led by as many as 15. That was at 26-11 with 6:25 to go in the second quarter. That's when Jacksonville called timeout, and really the momentum has been with the Dolphins since then.
Yeah.
But the Wildcats just built such a lead early on. We're still holding on to it. But a 6-point ball game, 46-40.
Not enough good offense out of Bethune-Cookman for this past second quarter.
Only 8 points in the third for the Wildcats.
Third quarter.
Imani Dorsey, again, no way to get the ball to the paint. 7 to shoot. It's just a pull-up jumper from Chanel Wilson, finds Twine.
That was, an exhale we both had there.
Huge bucket for the Wildcats.
Just can't seem to break the zone whatsoever. If Jacksonville wants to take one thing away from this game so far, amazing defense from this zone. But
well, I know what Coach Creighton is going to be working on in practice this week. Driving to the hoop. Britt loses the ball, and it's going to be a jump ball.
I'm going to be running.
No, Jacksonville called timeout before the jump ball.
Yeah.
So BCU has one of those, and now Jacksonville has one of those. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. Wildcats basketball is here, and season tickets are on sale now at the BCU box office. Just $225 on the lower level and $125 in the upper level. Wildcat basketball wants to see you this season at Moore Gymnasium. And we were kind of lamenting about the crowd before the game, but not a bad crowd out here for a Tuesday night as finals week is upon us here at BCU.
Cold Tuesday night before finals week. Pretty great turnout considering. A lot of people are already trying to probably go home, heading home, thinking about home. So little women's basketball cheer them up.
But really, there's not been a lot for this Wildcat crowd to cheer tonight, at least nothing consistent. It's all been stop-start offensively for the Wildcats.
And Moore Gym has a very good basketball IQ when watching these games. So we've seen a lot of cheers for good defensive possessions, steals, just good defensive pressure we've seen cheers for compared to, certain places you'll go and they'll only score if they see a dunk or a cool three-pointer.
In transition, tipped out of bounds by Telaria. Aggressive pass from White to try and find Edwards underneath the basket.
Telaria isn't that tall, but she got up to get that, to stop that pass from getting back.
5'9" Telaria from Puerto Rico. Another baseline in for the Wildcats. Haven't got a lot done off of these set plays in this game, but they are going to get a foul called there. Look out, referee. Gives Kayla White a bit of a hug to stop her momentum.
More.
As a referee, that's kind of the worst situation you want to find yourself in. I referee soccer, and you never want to get run over or find yourself in the play.
One of the good things for referees that are reffing, women's games and just, younger sports as well.
That was the first foul on Battle.
Oh, it was the first foul on Battle. So we finally have found a chink in the armor of Battle, getting her a first personal foul.
Got to keep driving at her, try and get her in some foul trouble here in the second half. Nia Jordan crosses over. Deshante Edwards takes the ball. 10 to shoot. Edwards around the double team, loses the ball underneath, and it's stolen away by Britt, and she is fouled.
Now, McDonald's arguing.
Fourth foul on BCU in this quarter. They're almost set up to put, oh no, that is the fifth foul.
Yeah,
that the board updates. And we put Jacksonville in the bonus, sending them 80 feet the other way, as Eric Dennis likes to say.
Yeah. McDonald was arguing a little bit with the ref about that call, and even Coach Creighton was arguing about it.
Thought it should have been a travel.
Should have been a travel. She looked like she kind of did fall, but obviously refs have a better view of it than we do, so we try not to argue against ref calls up here.
Britt at the line.
Moore Gym shaking before she takes this free throw.
And makes it. Deadly from the free throw line for the Dolphins in this third quarter. 7 of 7 now.
the last person you want
So 7 of their 11 points in the quarter have come from the foul line.
Finally
This is
missing.
the second one, but it's an offensive rebound for Craig.
And
another
again.
foul. Wildcats falling apart a little bit here.
This is the last thing you want to see as a coach, is this like just allowing this many opportunities for free points. You end up creating these possessions that just seem to go on forever, where you have multi-score opportunities, where you have a 1-point play that turns into a now 3-point possibility. And then, if they miss and get another board, all of a sudden you're looking at 5 points without you ever getting an opportunity, 5-6 points without you ever getting an opportunity to score.
Here's something I want your opinion on, Henson. Janelle McDonald has 12 points tonight. She's our second leading scorer. She's 5 of 6 from the floor, and yet she hasn't touched the ball in the third quarter. She's on the floor, but they have not been able to get her the ball in the post.
And I think that has to do a lot with Jacksonville's defense. They've bin running this zone for a good chunk of this game, and outside of like fast break opportunities and early in the game where we could see McDonald hit that little, get in that back little road behind the defense, they've been making sure to mark her and not allow her any space in the zone. And until Bethune-Cookman can really consistently shoot or break this zone with, fast passing and stuff, they're just going to keep doing it and going to come back into this game, as now it's only a 6-point BCU lead with 1 minute left.
Yep. Equaling the smallest deficit it has been since the middle of the first quarter. Dolphins show token pressure. Edwards does get the ball in. Wildcats, if they go quickly, might be able to go 2 for 1 here. Yeah. But they have not been going quick on the offensive end at all
whatsoever
today. Nice screen. Kick out. Edwards runs the baseline. Clark, a jumper, yes. Kayla Clark has her first points of the night.
And Kayla White was open on the shoulder there and was calling for that ball, but Clark puts it up and makes it in, so we're not going to hear much about that later.
Back to an 8-point game. Britt crosses over Edwards, gets switched onto by Clark. Edwards gets blown by Battle, but it's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Calls the ISO, pushes off her offensive help.
10 seconds left. 9, here's Wilson. She's probably going to try a little bit of ISO ball herself with 3 to shoot. Drive, step back, hand in her face. Oh, Chanel Wilson, get out of here.
Said I could do you one better. Buzzer beating here in this third quarter to end it on a high note for Bethune-Cookman, but much of this third quarter has not been in Cookman's favor, right, Michael?
16-13, the Jacksonville Dolphins have outscored the Wildcats in each of the last 2 quarters, but BCU still holds an 8-point lead headed to the fourth. We'll take a quick break and be right back. This is BCU Women's Basketball on the CatEye Network. Come be a part of BCU Athletics and support the CatEye Network. If you or your business is interested in partnering with us here on the CatEye Network, you can reach out to the Wildcats Athletic Communications Department at BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu. That's BCU Sports Info at Cookman.edu, and your business could be on air with the Wildcats. Wildcats holding on to an 8-point lead over the Jacksonville Dolphins as we get set to start the fourth quarter. Michael Torino-Henson up here in the broadcast booth, and Wildcats hanging on as we head to the fourth, trying to win their fourth straight non-conference game, I should say, for the first time since 2019, and move to 4-2 on this season. Jacksonville looking for their first road win on the year. They come in here 0-2 away from home. Somebody's got to go to that ball, and it's going to be a 5-second violation as nobody came around the back for Wilson to dump that ball off to.
Any assistance while Eden just battling for that ball in possession, getting it back to Jacksonville. She has only had 1 minute of rest, sitting on the bench, 29 minutes in a 30-minute first three quarters. So she's been out there working her heart out for 22 points, career high.
Season high, at
season
least.
High,
I'm not sure if it's a career high. I'd have to go back and check her numbers from when she was at Miami, Ohio. Nice fast hands from Kayla White. She runs the floor. And this is a wide open layup, a second one of the game for her. That's really uncharacteristic for Kayla White.
Kayla White 2 for 6 now after that missed shot. Two open layups.
This is someone in Kayla White last year who was a primary scorer for BCU a lot of times last season and just has come up short on a number of occasions. Wilson almost thought about the step back, but she'll run the offense now. Look at Kayla Clark out on the perimeter, setting that screen. Clark up top, dumps it down. McDonald spins, blocked. Clark flies through for the board. Cross court. For three is White, no good. Offensive rebound, Edwards blocked by Jalissa Dunlap. Battle, Euro step, misses it. Crazy action going on both ends of the floor right now.
How Battle's been playing, I thought that was going in.
Oh, I mean, you got to think everything Battle touches goes in, and then the ball is dribbled off the end line or out of bounds by Deshante Edwards, excuse me. So I think the Wildcats just need to calm down right now. They're playing into Jacksonville's game, which Jacksonville's game is cause chaos, force turnovers. The Wildcats have only turned the ball over 11 times, which is still under their season average of 13, but you cannot get careless with the ball, especially in a game this close.
And Kayla White gets subbed out here after blowing that open layup and then missing that three.
That's tough for Kayla White, and I'm sure she'll get her scoring legs under her as this season goes on, only averaging 3 points a game through the opening 5 contests. Nice pass that time. Battle turns provider.
And an alley-oop opportunity there that was scored for Jacksonville.
4-point game. 6-point game, excuse me. Edwards, baseline dribble drive, kick out. It goes around the horn. Chanel Wilson. Can she make some magic happen as she did at the end of the third quarter? She's got the taller defender on her, blows by her, but can't score. And then it's going to be Jacksonville ball, last touched by McDonald.
Just a well-worked possession. The one thing about this game is that Cookman has had a ton of open looks and good shots against the zone, but they're just not capitalizing.
Shooting 37% from the floor, but really that's kind of been the story of their season. The Wildcats are shooting 35% from the floor on the year as a team.
You just got to hope those, the yips get out.
Three-pointer good from Kashana Brown.
And now it is
her first point of the game. 3-point game. Timeout, Bethune-Cookman. They have not scored in the fourth quarter.
It's the last thing you want as a coach.
And they've had so many good opportunities. They just have not gotten anything to go down.
3 is a 3-point game. Far cry from the 15-point lead that Bethune-Cookman had earlier. Can't seem to score.
And it's frustrating for this Wildcats team that the world looked to be at their fingertips after the first quarter and a half. They were up by, as you said, 15 points. And then pretty much after that, they've kind of coasted, scoring 15 points in the third and now 0 for 5 so far in the fourth quarter. And the Dolphins have lowered the gap to 3. Remember, the Dolphins have not led in this game.
The last thing you want to give them is all of a sudden have their first lead in the last game. And the funny thing is they did a similar thing against FAMU. They were down most of the game and then started coming back in that fourth quarter, third quarter, and they looked to try to complete their comeback against the bitter rivals of FAM here at Cookman.
Yeah, well, that's a FAMU team that we still don't know what the identity of that team's going to be. New coach, bunch of new players in there this year. BCU did the double over FAMU last year. We get them first in conference play on the 3rd of January. That game is coming up right here at Moore Gymnasium. But the Wildcats have just watched this lead get slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, mostly through the effective battle, but also Craig now up to 10 points.
The thing is, Cookman has spread the scoring around 16, 12, 6, 5, 3, and a bunch of twos for Bethune-Cookman. But Battle 22 and then correct 10, and then the closest next score is 5 with Britt. So
yeah, and really, 18 points for Jacksonville from the free throw line today, only 12 for Bethune-Cookman.
Yep. So,
and that's what this Wildcats team last year did that a lot to people. They free throwed them to death. They got a lot of wins that way.
Yeah. And Craig has gotten most of her points, only 4 points from the field, 6 points from the free throw line with 6 rebounds.
Moore Gymnasium finally for the first time gets loud behind their Wildcats. Wilson, step back corner pocket, side of the glass, no good. Scramble on the floor, Battle has it. It rolls around, Telleria grabs it.
And Battle slow to get up.
Telleria all the way to the rim and scores, and it's a one-point game.
Now, if we were down and now we were coming back and it was a one-point game, we'd be much more excited. But obviously, when you're up 15,
Edwards steps into a mid-range jumper off glass, no good, and the rebound caroms to Battle.
Just easy board for Jacksonville as Battle gets fouled.
And the chance to take their first lead of the game. The Jacksonville bench is fired up. The couple fans that have made the 2-hour trip south are fired up. And the collapse continues for Bethune-Cookman, and we got to get off the snide sooner or later, or this one, we might be looking at the wrong end of this one.
They got to start scoring some points.
Down to 36% from the field, 18 of 50 for Bethune-Cookman, and again, Battle from the free throw line, money. She is only 3 for 7. It's one of the main things she hasn't done well.
But with this opportunity, she could go 5 for 9 if she makes this one and make it a much more respectable.
For the first time in the game, the Dolphins lead 54-53, but maybe this is comfortable for the Wildcats.
Yeah.
They've been behind in most of their wins so far this year.
Yeah. Maybe they just wanted to be behind and give them a taste of that and then come back. But obviously, even if we do win this game, it's not something you want to see continue throughout the season.
Is there another fight back in the maroon and gold early on this year? Woods drives, gets fouled, will go to the line.
Ooh. Woods slow to get up. Landed on her hip, how it looked.
Yeah, and that is someone we can't really afford to have an injury. A consistent starter for this team, Kariana Woods. Slow to get up, but she will walk to the free throw line.
Crowd's gonna get quiet here.
Woods makes the first one.
54-54 all of a sudden. 1 point game for the Wildcats. Tie game rather for the Wildcats. 1 point lead opportunity here.
Makes it. 4 for 4 from the charity stripe on the night for Woods. She shoots free throws at 77%. Battle flies to the paint, kicks it out to the corner for a 3.
That's off.
Short, but it goes right back to Battle, who's fouled.
That was Dunlap, rather, who was on the corner there. Battle threw it out to her.
Yeah.
And then I think
It is going to go against the Dolphins.
Yeah. Or the ball just went out of bounds and they didn't call anything. There was a lot of contact there.
I saw the contact, and then I saw the referee's hand go up. He must have just been pointing.
Yeah.
Wildcats with a 1-point lead will want to try and drain some time off the clock. Wilson into the lane, fakes the pass, gets the roll.
And that's a tough shot by Chanel Wilson. We're finally seeing this offense kind of come to light, but we're going to have to run a lot of zone defense in practice or something.
Yeah. Battle around the edge, chased by Clark. Double team under the basket. Ball goes under the paint. It is a jump ball. The possession arrow belongs to the Dolphins.
Now, one question I have, Michael, and this is more for the fans at home and me as well. When did they, start shifting more towards this possession arrow thing rather than the jump balls a lot of people are used to?
I think it's always been a college thing that they've never had a jump. It's always been alternating possession. That's an Eric Dennis question. He's the basketball historian, not me.
I feel like an old man because I certainly remember at some point watching games, college games with the jump balls, but it's entirely possible I was also 5. 25. Number
Craig spinning, throwing it up, no good. Offensive board, Telleria. Craig thought about the 3, but we'll just play it out to Brown. Brown does take the 3, had to get it off at the end of the shot clock, and it's off the mark.
That offensive rebound, you can't just keep letting them get possessions for free on these offensive rebounds after fouling them so much already and then not capitalizing on your own points. This is why this game is so close.
Step back 3, Chanel Wilson. Every time. Offensive board for Dunn. Putback is good. Great job by Kerrigan Dunn.
There you go. That's what you want to see. If you're going to let up those offensive rebounds on the other end, you got to get your own down here. Now it's a 5-point lead. A little more breathing room for the Wildcats as more Jim gets loud.
Throwing up the layup, no good. Out of bounds. It'll still be Jacksonville ball. They are trying to go more towards Craig underneath the basket. And just a point of emphasis, Dunlap is playing with 4 fouls for Jacksonville. Nobody on the Wildcats has more than 3.
Brown gets
McDonald has 3, Edwards has 3, and Clark has 3. Here's a
open shot.
Free throw line jumper off the mark. Ball is tapped, out of bounds, stays with Jacksonville again. Craig is just a monster under the basket trying to get those rebounds.
Craig is, one of the tallest players out there, and especially when you have these shorter players like your Dorsey's down in the paint trying to get that board over her. It's not going to happen. It's Battle gets this ball out of the inbounds.
She's got Edwards on her. Remember, Edwards has 3 fouls, but is one of the better on-ball defenders in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Driving and throwing up a layup. It's no good. Craig gets another rebound at his foul.
Oh, my gosh. Craig, once again, 6 for 6 from the free throw line, 10 points total, 2 for 9 from the field. She cannot seem to score without getting fouled this game.
We're waiting to see who the foul is on. It's on Kayla Clark. That's her 4th foul.
Yeah.
Fresh 20 on the shot clock. A lot of time burned away on this possession, but Jacksonville has not scored on it yet. Battle with Clark switched on to her. Nice pursuit angle by Edwards.
Open shot.
Telleria takes it. No good. Another offensive board for Craig. Put back. Finally, it's good. They got 5 looks at that for Jacksonville, and you cannot have that if you're Bethune-Cookman.
Not at all. Somebody's got to get in there and get that board before you let a player let a team get 5 looks. Craig pretty much was their entire rebounding presence that possession.
Clark, elbow jumper, too strong. Craig another board, and she's fouled. And that is the end for Kayla Clark. That's her 5th foul.
Yeah.
So she picks up 5 fouls in only 14 minutes of action. Not a banner night for Kayla Clark.
5 fouls in 14 minutes, only 2 points, 8 rebounds, however, in 1 block, but a Dennis Rodman-like stat sheet for her.
Chanel McDonald comes back in to play the 5, but we got to remember McDonald also has 3 fouls, so she's not out of the woods yet. 3-point game. Dunlap playing with 4 fouls. Telleria goes downstairs.
There goes Craig again.
And McDonald wins the battle. No, it's a foul. And Moore Gymnasium doesn't like that. That's the 4th foul on McDonald.
And I don't like that call either.
I think she's straight up and does a good job at defending. I think that's a bad foul. I think that's a bad foul. But it's going to put Craig at the line.
And now McDonald with 4 fouls. And we're looking at a possibility of Cookman having no centers out there.
No centers at all. The next woman up will be maybe Kamara Langston at 5'11". Yeah. But your two 6-footers are maybe about to foul out of this game. And the first miss from the free throw line of the night for Shania Craig.
As more gyms gotten annoyed at the Jacksonville Dolphins here and just getting loud and rambunctious now when they're at the line.
Makes the second one. 2-point game, 59-57, 3:14 to go. Wildcats shooting just 37% from the field. Woods downstairs to McDonald.
McDonald can't do anything offensively to get it. Oh, what an up and under. Oh, it's off.
But an offensive board for Dunn, and she'll go to the line.
And I think that one's going to be called on Craig. Artilleria.
No, you're right. It's on Frazier.
Frazier. Number 5 for the Jacksonville Dolphins there. 2-point game, 2 minutes and 58 seconds left. How's your bottle Kerrigan done?
Well, as they say, grab your nitroglycerin pills. College basketball is exciting all the way around. That's the first miss of the game for Kerrigan Dunn. Dunn 2 of 4 from the line. It's Kariana Woods that's 4 of 4.
Yeah.
Wildcats scoreless in the last 2 minutes.
2 for.
Trying to make this a 3-point game. She does.
60-57 now. Open to Battle. Battle, who's been relatively quiet since we've kind of seen the correct show.
Double teamed out of bounds. Who's it off of? It's off of the catch.
Looks like it was off of Woods there.
Yeah, they tried the trap.
And it worked. Just couldn't keep that ball inside. Almost went into the more Jim faithful there. As Battle gets the ball back.
2:50 to go. 3-point game.
And now
Battle
Tucker
against Edwards. And guess who? Here's Craig. Matched up with Omariah Tucker. Up, and Tucker wins. And it's an offensive foul as a reach-in is called as Dunn grabbed the ball. The foul's going to go against Telleria. That's her 3rd.
Yeah, Telleria just trying to get that ball, stop the possession from going back to the Wildcats, but just can't reach over Dunn and pulls her back rather than letting the fast break attempt happen.
Both teams will be in the bonus for the last 2:40. It may turn into a free throw shooting contest here at Moore Gymnasium. Now the Dolphins show full court pressure, but they don't pressure the pass.
And the Dolphins would like that. They're shooting 21 for 27, 77%, while the Wildcats are 65%. So the math is in their favor.
Edwards drives left all the way to the paint. Bucket in the horn for DeShante Edwards. Wow.
And one opportunity. DeShante Edwards just says, I got it, and just runs into the paint, ignores the contact or a floater, and makes the bucket there.
And if I'm not mistaken, that's the 4th foul on Isameri Telleria.
Yep, we've been calling her name a lot as well alongside Battle and Craig. She seems to be unsung.
Nope, they called the foul on Frazier. That's her 4th. The and one is converted. What a gutsy play by DeShante Edwards. It only attempted 1 field goal previously.
Yeah.
Battle trying to get into the front court, and then she'll go to the free throw line. Fouled by, I believe that's going to be DeShante Edwards. No, fouled by Chariot Johnson?
No, that was Woods.
Did they get the, Woods, excuse me.
Yeah. But
I thought he put up 4 fingers. They're like, Johnson hasn't played all season. What's he doing in the game now? But it is against Woods.
Yeah. Battle goes to the line here, looking to make it, another good 5 for 9 rather from.
Yeah. Well, that and one by Edwards made it a 6-point game, which was huge for the Wildcats.
As McDonald subs back in and Tucker goes back to the bench.
We may need Omariah Tucker's spot-up shooting ability down the stretch.
Yep.
Tonight, Tucker just 3 points, 1 of 2 from 3 is the only shot she's taken.
And she's just made.
But on the season, she is 50% from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
Makes them both. 4-point game.
Woods starts with the ball. Top of the key by the logo.
Here is Chanel Wilson, double teamed. Edwards, does she drive again? She does, but it's a palming violation. You rarely see that call.
Palming violation. And
the Wildcats turn the ball over for the 13th time. That's right on their season average. Still with 2:12 to go.
Playing it by the book, the ref is, but 2 minutes left, you're calling palming violations. 2:12 rather. As Battle gets the ball off the inbound, almost goes out of bounds, has trouble keeping possession of it.
She does keep it in though.
Deshante Edwards, top of the key with her, gets it back to Craig.
Craig back to Battle. Looking to go to work against Wilson. They throw it in the paint for Craig.
Oh.
A great post move, but she can't finish. But she hauls down the board.
She misses again.
Tucker in there, gets the board. Whistle. And what's the call? It's a foul against Jacksonville's Kashana Brown.
I think it was a reach off of the rebound there. Craig just keeps getting extra opportunities. That's a double-double for her.
Can I just appreciate the tenacity of Omariah Tucker? 5'11", going against the 6'1" Craig and getting that board.
Yeah, important board as well. We've seen that Craig will just sit there, get those putback attempts.
Too strong from Wilson. This one could make it a 5-point game, which could be huge. With 1:49 left. Lane violation on the Wildcats, which negates the free throw. Unreal.
Palming violation, lane violation. We're pulling out the entire
double dribbles, travels all over the place. They get the ball into Battle.
Fundamental basketball. Avert your eyes.
Still a 4-point game. Top of the key, here's Brown. Into a double team. Now can't move her pivot foot. Gets it back to Battle. Has Edwards draped all over her. Battle into the paint, throws it up, and it's good, because of course it is. 28 points for Battle, approaching a triple-double. 2-point game, 1:19 left. Dunn up top.
Working the ball.
Hand off Wilson, one-on-one against Telleria. Gets
Step
Telleria
back
to drive. Here's the
off the
shot.
Front of the
And it's going to be a foul, as crashing to the ground is Deshante Edwards. Battle went in hard. They're both slow to get up.
Yeah.
I think they're going to call the foul on Battle for pushing off.
Yeah. I mean, how it looked, I got very worried for both players' knees there. That, when you see those hard falls, it's the first thing you start thinking about, especially when you don't see that, they can really get down on the ground safely. But obviously, I mean, both of them are okay walking around, but, a little shaken up.
This is a huge attempt at the line for Deshante Edwards.
1 minute to go, 2-point lead. Could make it a 4-point lead here if she makes both of these.
But the first one goes begging. Off the rim.
All right, now to, make that, it's a 3-point opportunity. But they look like they're drawing up a set play here, so possibly they're looking to miss this on purpose.
With the lead, I can't see it. We'll see, though. It's in and out. 2-point game. Jacksonville a chance to tie or take the lead with under a minute to go. Tighten your seatbelts, folks. It's another thriller at Moore Gymnasium. Battle to the lane, puts it up. She'll go to the line.
Shooting foul, didn't set her feet, does Woods. And now The Dolphins have a chance to tie it up.
4th on Woods.
4th on Woods. I mean, everybody just seems to be in foul trouble for both teams. 4 fouls for Dunlap and Frazier, and 4 for McDonald, and now 4 for Woods as well. Edwards is on 3.
Oh, McDonald's coming back into the game, replacing Tucker, who's done a good job trying to fill in at the 5 as a 5'10" out or 5'11" outside shooter, trying to fill in at center.
More Jim Rocks
on the first one.
And the ball rolls out of the rim.
Coach Creighton and Coach Tucker imploring the Wildcats to box out on a potential miss.
Probably going to double box out Craig here.
The second free throw is good. 1 point game. 63-62.
Hearts have to be racing on both teams here.
Important possession for the Wildcats.
Can't let it go wasted.
They try to dump it to McDonald. She's not open. Great defense by Craig.
Woods is wide open on the...
Woods drives, puts it up, is fouled. She'll go to the line. They wanted the charge, but it wasn't the person taking the charge that was the fouler. It was Brown who reached in.
So now, back to the line.
At the line for Woods.
Chance to redeem herself of those earlier missed free throws and make it a three-point game. First shot. How's your clutch?
No, just off the front of the rim. The Wildcats have missed their last 3 free throws. Down to just 57% on the night from the line.
Poor shooting percentage all around for the Wildcats this game.
Second one is good. 2-point game, 64-62. Timeout Jacksonville.
30 seconds.
There is a 0.1 second difference, shot clock to game clock. So really, no shot clock is off here at the end of the game.
Yeah. So the real question is Jacksonville going to hold for this last shot? Obviously, they have Craig and Battle, who would be looking to take this shot for the team. I mean, Battle's had an outstanding night. If she shoots and scores on this last possession, could be over 30 points for the game. But obviously, Craig is down there looking for the board. So look for Jacksonville. If they get a good look with Battle, especially to just put it up. Worst case, they miss, and then Craig is down there, and we haven't seemed to been able to stop her from getting those boards late in this game.
So if you are Jacksonville, do you hold for the last shot, or do you try and play something early and then get a stop?
The Wildcats have not been playing good offensively, much if at all, since the first quarter. So you could definitely make an argument to say, hey, why not just stop them one more time? You've been stopping them all game. And worst case, we take it to overtime if we can't get a three-point look here at Moore Gymnasium. 30 seconds left. Both teams in the bonus, 64-62. Battle is on the inbound.
The one thing you cannot do if you're BCU is foul. Do not foul. But it's a steal off the inbounds.
And
but the layup is missed again. Another missed layup off a run out. Craig goes coast to coast. And is fouled. She didn't set her feet.
Not a charge.
And that's the end. Chanel McDonald is fouled out.
No center. If she makes both of these and no one else scores, we're going to overtime with no center.
We had overtime here against Iona.
And similar situation as Iona, where there is just one or two players that just seem to be carrying their offensive workload. Cookman does not have a good answer for, taller, imposing players.
And that's going to be a struggle for the Wildcats when we get into conference play, when there are a lot of good forwards and centers in this league. 2-point game, 2 field goals for Shania Craig. 7 out of 8 from the line tonight. 85% on the season, and she's missed. So now, do you miss intentionally here and try and get the board?
With 19 seconds left, most of the team hasn't shot well from the free throw line for Cookman.
Or do you make it and then try and foul?
You might just try to make it and try and foul, or you just see what happens here.
She makes it. 64-63 Wildcats.
Timeout Wildcats.
Coach Creighton calls a timeout to advance the ball into the front courts. Henson, we got to stop meeting like this.
We got
every game we do here is
something happens. Never a boring night in more gymnasium.
We had the overtime game against Iona. We had the record-setting night for men's basketball against Trinity Baptist, where they broke the record for steals in a game on all time in program history.
Yeah. Charleston Southern game was a close battle as well. And speaking of battles, love doing these puns, by the way. But Eden Battle has played an outstanding game alongside Craig, who has just had her way in the post and the paint, getting as many boards as she really pleases. 11 rebounds, leading the entire game. Closest for Bethune is Clark, who, mind you, only played 14 minutes and had 5 fouls with 0 points scored, or 2 points scored rather. So our no one's been able to stop Clark most of the time.
Thank you to the 156 of you tuned in on the CatEye Network tonight to watch the end of this exciting one.
19 seconds left in the bonus for both teams. Obviously, Jacksonville's going to look to foul here quickly with the maximum amount of time.
Okay. We apologize for the picture. It should be back up now. Wildcats inbounding the ball, up 1, 19 seconds to go. They got to get the ball in. They do. Now they're just kind of trying to avoid the foul. They get it across. They get it across again to Edwards. And Edwards is wrapped up with 12 seconds left. Now, if that's on Telleria, I think she's done. Let me go back over to the stats page. No, Telleria only has 3 fouls.
Yeah, this would be her 4th if it's on her. But the one thing, they seem to be having a little discussion there pre-free throw.
I think they're just trying to put off Deshante Edwards.
Yeah, Deshante Edwards this game is only 1 for 3 from the free throw line. And I think a timeout was called.
Timeout Wildcats.
Yeah.
Interesting. You kind of ice your own free throw shooter.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting call. Maybe they want to plan something out here. 1-point lead. Maybe you go, hey, make the first one, miss the second, try to get a drop, something to get that board back, and then force them to foul again and keep the ball in your possession. But obviously, if she misses both of them, now it's a 1-point game, and the Dolphins will look to just score however they'd like here.
There is no BC without you. Show your support for Bethune-Cookman Athletics by joining the Wildcat Champions Club today. Help us build a championship culture at Bethune-Cookman. You can donate and join at cookman.scalefunder.com. That's cookman.scalefunder.com.
And who wouldn't want to donate to this women's team who's he's trying to give it their all. They were up 15, and if you started watching the second half, you wouldn't believe it, as Jacksonville has been, just playing hard basketball for much of the second half. And Cookman has gotten open looks. That's the thing. It isn't insane, all NBA level defense here, all WNBA level defense rather, out of Jacksonville. Just does the zone, and Cookman's can't seem to break it. But here we are with a free throw opportunity.
I guess they're looking at something on the monitor. The only thing that I can think that they could be looking at is who the foul is on.
Yeah.
It looked like it was on Telleria to me, but we don't have a monitor up here, so we can't go back and watch and see what they're looking at. But let's talk about the upcoming schedule for VCU women's basketball. Obviously, they go to Florida International. That's their last road game for a while on the 3rd of December. They're home the 12th, 9th, and 15th of December. If you are in the area, come on down and support this women's basketball team. They play Warner, Johnson, and Trinity Baptist. So 3 non-Division I games, a chance to get some momentum or continue some momentum into deeper in December. Then if you're in the DeLand area, come out. They play Valparaiso and North Carolina A&T. That's at Stetson in an MTE the 19th and 20th. Here is Deshante Edwards at the line. Massive moment for her. Makes the first one.
That's what you want to see. That's clutch. You can't teach clutch. You can't practice clutch. There's no way.
2-point game. Edwards dribbles twice, catches, flicks it towards the hoop, and gets it. The sophomore from Dallastown, Pennsylvania, ice in her veins. Timeout Jacksonville with 12.9 left. Now all BCU has to do is don't foul and defend the three.
Yep. Ref is calling for something. Ref was making sure of something right there. I was trying to just make sure.
Oh, Fuller, he's asking Fuller 30. Yeah. It's a full time, 60-second timeout.
All right. I was just making sure. I was wondering. I didn't think Jacksonville went through other timeouts, but that was the only thing I could think of at the time. But
that would be a ridiculous play. Now, I have seen that happen. I used to work for Atlantic High School doing their radio broadcasts here locally, and that did happen to us one time where we lost the game because our coach called the timeout that he didn't have, and they went to the line for 2 technical free throws. We lost by 2.
Now, obviously, you don't want that to happen to anybody. But 66-63, 3-point play opportunity. Now, obviously, if you're looking for anyone to shoot this three-pointer, you would assume it would be Battle, but she's 1 for 5 this entire game.
Yeah, well, Best on the 3-point line. I mean, there's nobody, really. They've only hit 2. Battle has 1, and Brown has 1. They're 2 for 11 from beyond the arc of the game. Yeah. So not really a great 3-point shooting team. The other thing you could try to go down low to Craig and try and draw the and one.
Yeah. Or go down to Craig, foul quick, get it down to Craig quickly, foul quickly if she scores, and then have enough time to put another shot up off of maybe a missed free throw or something of that nature.
Here we go. Jacksonville down 3, 12.9 to go.
More Jim
The
rocking.
Inbound goes to Battle. She's got Woods on her. Battle shoots. It's no good. It's dribbled out. Dunn grabs the board. In the corner, she's fouled with 5.8. The one time you had to have the defensive rebound, the Wildcats come up big. Remember, both of their centers have fouled out.
Yeah. And you could tell the way that we got that defensive rebound wasn't one lady going up for it. It was a get that ball away from everybody.
They're going to credit the rebound to Kerrigan Dunn, but really it was Omariah Tucker who tapped that out to her in the corner.
And hats off to Omariah Tucker coming in for most of the game, a lot of the game really, and playing a 5 role due to foul trouble for both of our true centers, and doing a great job slowing down Craig.
And she's not really even a forward. She's a spot-up shooter. Really great 3-point shooter from the corner, but she's done a great job. And she's had to battle against the 6'1" Sanaya Craig. Kerrigan Dunn hits the first free throw. 4-point game. She hits the second free throw.
Game. 5 seconds left. Jacksonville has to get this ball up quick.
Don't foul, Battle.
She has to shoot it. Oh!
She doesn't get the shot off, and this one belongs to the maroon and gold. They had to claw, they had to scrap, they had to battle all the way to the final horn, but they've won 4 in a row for the first time since 2019.
The funny thing is that was the one time Battle didn't look to just shoot it. I think all of those misses earlier in the game from the 3-point beyond the arc had just ruined her confidence, and she just looked to pass it out. There wasn't enough time to run anything. They got it up court with around 3 seconds left, and they just started. She thought too much. You don't have the time to pass. You don't have the time. And ironically, their definitely best isolation player refused to play isolation in that clutch moment. So now, game is over.
The Wildcats win a thriller. At one point in the first half, we were up 15, cruising, feeling good. Jacksonville fought. They never went away. They closed the gap. They closed the gap. It was a 9-point game at halftime. They closed the gap in the third quarter. They took the lead in the fourth. At 6:09, they led 54-53. They would not lead again. The Wildcats, through late game heroics from Chanel Wilson, but also from the free throw line from Carriana Woods, Deshante Edwards, and Kerrigan Dunn, pull one out of the fire, and the Wildcats defend side court again.
Yeah. Jacksonville just got off to a slow start. 5 to 16 for that first quarter, and that just ruined their game. Obviously, if they scored some more, even if they just scored closer amount, 10 points, we're looking at a Jacksonville University win here.
Yeah.
But that slow start tanked their chances when no one could get going early on, and that just led to this Bethune-Cookman victory we're seeing here. a lot of clutch free throw shooting down the stretch, but one thing that Cookman is definitely going to have to work on, two things rather, is not getting the good looks, but capitalizing on them. You shoot 58 times from the field, and I would argue a good chunk of those were good looks, and only make 21 of them, shooting 36% from the field as a whole. McDonald started out scoring 12 and was the leading scorer for much of the game, but just stopped scoring due to that zone that Jacksonville ran, and that would be my other thing. We have to practice working against these zone defenses. We have to practice. I don't know how you'd practice getting taller people in there, but that's obviously something they have to work on
practice
as well.
Against the men's team.
Yeah, practice. Get some of those guys in there just for maybe a practice or two and just deal with that height difference, deal with that rebounding. Because Craig, I mean, if Craig was a better putback scorer, we're losing this game. Craig shot 3 for 12 and 8 for 10 from the free throw line. If she could make those putbacks, we're losing this game.
Here are your final team stat totals for the night's game. Jacksonville actually out-rebounding Bethune-Cookman 39-37. BCU on the season averaging 39 rebounds a game, so under their season average for rebounds.
Yeah.
But they did have 13 offensive rebounds to Jacksonville's 10. 14 assists to Jacksonville's 7. 14 turnovers to Jacksonville's 17. So Jacksonville actually did a better job in the second half of not turning the ball over, but the damage was done. They turned the ball over 11 times in the first half. 2 blocks each. Points to the paint, 20-16 BCU.
Yeah.
Points off turnovers, actually Jacksonville capitalizing 13-12. So you force them to turn the ball over 17 times and only get 12 points off turnovers. So again, you're talking about missed opportunities.
Yeah. We saw tons of fast break chances throughout the game, and they just couldn't capitalize on them, whether it was due to a poor outlet pass, a blown layup. We saw 2 blown layups in that second half that immediately spring to mind when I think about missed opportunities.
26 personal fouls for Jacksonville, 24 for Bethune-Cookman. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy numbers.
You cannot say they didn't play hard this game. Everyone was fouling. Everybody was scrapping. I mean, just a surprising game. And hats off to Battle, who played almost every possible minute